After weeks of tension, leaked footage, and courtroom chaos, Camron surprises the world by releasing private voicemails from Chrissy. She personally begged him to delete these messages, which aren't just voice notes, they're nuclear as fans. Swarm in. When Camron becomes quiet, you know a storm is building. But when he claps back, he destroys everything. The true question, as Jim Jones spins, is why Chrissy confided in Cam in the first place, and why now what starts as with each voicemail. Another layer of truth is revealed, and what's left isn't pretty loyalty is shattered. Love is exposed, and the internet is consuming it all. However, for those at the center of the firestorm, this is no longer entertainment, it's survival. Welcome to Fallout. Vengeance swiftly turns into a war of receipts, regret, and revelation. On social media, it began like any other afternoon, scrolling posts and memes, but at precisely to 12 p.m., Camron sent out a single, mysterious tweet. That said, you're ready to hear her big. The internet didn't require an invitation twice, and a new post appeared on Cam's Instagram story a few minutes later. An audio message with the label Chrissy voicemail, one on a black screen. I wasn't thinking well, so kindly click the cam and remove those messages. You weren't intended to save the voicemails. Was clearly with just one post. Camron ignited the entire hip-hop community. Was it real? Why? What else was coming? Cam didn't wait. He posted a second story with the caption, "When you tried to play me, but forgot I don't lose receipts." Which said, I don't lose receipts. Another voicemail said, Jim can't know about what I told you. It'll ruin everything. The story vanished after a day, but not before it was screen recorded and reposted. Deconstructed and, in an hour, spread like wildfire, one entertainment lawyer on TikTok stated that if these were recorded without consent, Cam could be in serious trouble. However, Cam wasn't backing down and he doubled down, posting a screenshot of a text thread in which Chrissy asked him, "You didn't save those, right?" Followed by a message from Cam replying with a shrug emoji. The receipts were stacking up, and Jim Jones remained silent for hours too long. According to fans, the silence was deafening. Meanwhile, Chrissy's Instagram went dark, no stories, no posts, just one subtle change, her bio. Once full of love quotes and brand tags, now reads simply, "Don't test the quiet ones," after rumors went wild. Chrissy confided in Cam. Were they ever more than simply friends during a difficult time with Jim? And if not, what was she concealing? Theories abound in podcasts. For to be effective, Camron is too strategic. Petty claimed that one host was attempting to paint a picture and had the brush paint an entire canvas. But for Jim, this was more than just paint. There was blood in the water. Jim's close friends and family claimed that he was and felt deceived by both Chrissy and Cam. He was clueless. The hardest thing was that nobody realized how much more Cam was sitting on. And back in the spotlight after Chrissy confided in him. On that level, Cam shared a video of himself speaking confidently to the camera rather than a voicemail. "Even though I didn't want to, you had best be prepared for me to unearth whatever you buried." Mic drop. The comment section was a tumult, with some fans siding with Cam and saying he was defending himself after months of being held accountable for scandals and leaks. Others criticized him for being untidy and rude, saying, "This isn't hip-hop. This is high school," but no one could dispute it. Jim finally broke his silence after Cam captured the attention of the world with a post that said, "Clowns perform, kings rebuild." It didn't tag Cam, it didn't mention Chrissy, but everyone knew exactly what it meant. Then, it was late. Cam left 3 voicemails that night, dropping the heaviest bomb yet. Legal experts started to weigh in again, stating that if Chrissy was calling Cam in moments of doubt, pain, or betrayal, what did that say about her relationship with Jim? And why did Cam still have those recordings? Depending on where this was recorded, Cam could face real consequences. "I shouldn't have said what I did about Jim. I was angry and hurt. You can't hold that against me forever." Uglier than we anticipated at the storm's core. While Kim posted a meme of a frog drinking tea, rumors circulated that a public statement or even a diss track was imminent. Chrissy remains silent, but silence has weight, and hers was thunderous. Jim reportedly told close friends that he was done protecting everyone else and ready to clear the air. Only beef-refreshing timelines didn't take long. Less than 48 hours after Camron's voicemail leak went viral online, and everyone was watching and waiting. When Jim Jones returned to the public eye, he did it with a bang, starting out quietly, like the quiet before a storm. Jim's official account posted a simple tweet at 8 a.m. that said, "Every king has his day." Okay? A marketing graphic with a dark background and a broken crown title said, "The silence is over." Fans understood exactly what a diss track was going to be, but they had no idea it would arrive so quickly, so raw, and so personal at 11:11 a.m. with a gritty one-take video shot on the rooftop of a building in Harlem. Jim released the song. On all platforms, the lyrics were incredibly incisive. It was a lyrical sniper shot, but Jim didn't stop there. Later that afternoon, he confirmed on Instagram Live that Chrissy's voicemails were real and old, claiming that she reached out to Kim during a temporary split, but denying that anything shady happened. "I didn't have a show, but I already outgrew them. You're a backup singer who is barely on key, and Autry was crying to you without confiding in me." Kim clutching onto that like some tabloid junkie was unexpected. While the internet was in a state of confusion, other admirers praised Jim for finally standing his own and praised his maturity in handling the situation. Cam's response was, true to form, Cam didn't rap. Others felt that his silence had allowed Cam's story to take over and that it was too little, too late. With the caption, "When the king's castle's made of gossip." He shared a photo of Jim wearing a crown that had been altered to appear cracked, crooked, and falling apart. Thousands of listeners, influencers, journalists, and even former Dipset affiliates joined in analyzing every word on Jim's disc and every second of Cam's video that same evening. At one point, a former affiliate dropped a bombshell. By midnight, Chrissy Gate and Cam vs. Jim were trending, and even celebrities weighed in. Some tweeted their support for Jim, while others used laughing emojis with Cam's memes. He hasn't even dropped the worst one yet, and he's sitting on something bigger. Rumors grew that Chrissy had confessed something worse in a voicemail. In the midst of the cultural division, Chrissy stayed mute, but her silence was now being reinterpreted. In novel ways, insiders close to her told websites that Chrissy was wounded, shocked, and angry. One blog even stated that she was discussing her options with her legal team. Was it regret and embarrassment, or was she getting ready to clap back herself? Another surprising turn of events would be a fresh voicemail if the messages were exploited for financial gain or defamation. Jones, Joseph Lil Capo, in a mysterious Instagram story. Jim's son revealed that they had both let her down and were now making her suffer. Into playlists, that one post sparked a second firestorm. Was Joseph siding with Chrissy or denouncing Jim and Cam for taking advantage of her weakness? Either way, it gave the public something else to think about. By the following morning, Cam had become extremely quiet and people were expecting another voicemail, another meme. His account had posted nothing. A lawyer for entertainment speculated that legal action had finally reached Cam's door. Cam's silence may indicate that he is planning to Jim but hasn't finished if Chrissy's attorneys issued a cease and desist order. 2 days later, he released a behind-the-scenes film called Rebuilding the Throne, which combined family moments, studio footage, and him in therapy. The message was clear. He was not performing it, but rather owning his anguish. Fans referred to it as growth, while critics referred to it as PR. But one comment from Cam's burner account struck out. Rebuild it, but remember who took it down first. Chrissy finally broke her silence with a tweet that said, "Let them burn each other. I'm done being the match." She posted a simple image of herself facing a mirror. The conflict was about how We treat women in hip-hop drama, privacy, forgiveness, and legacy. And the public exploded with memes, reposts, and thought pieces. No one knew, but everyone was watching. The buzz was beginning to fade, but the scars remained for the first time in weeks. No one posted anything, no tweets, no lives, just silence, and somehow that silence spoke louder than any diss track ever could. As the dust settled for the time being, the world waited for one last shoe to drop. Would Cam leak another voicemail? Would Chrissy speak in an interview? Two members of his inner circle flank his unreadable face in the Brooklyn studio. There is no press conference or fristle, just a brief message to the paparazzi that you don't have to perform it simultaneously while you're recovering. In a brief press release, Camron's camp said he was letting the incident go and would return to the music rather than the mess. But for many, the harm had already been done. Then, in a turn of events that no one had anticipated, Charlemagne the God hinted at a Breakfast Club exclusive. We have someone in the building tomorrow who's going to clear the air. The following morning, when everyone was watching, there was Chrissy. She continued by explaining that the voicemail sprang from a time in her life when she felt abandoned, unheard, and afraid. She didn't deny contacting Camron, but she did say, "I'm here to speak the truth. Not for clicks, not for gossip, just the truth." Lynn was elegant, poised, and exhausted, but unbreakable. Disavow any improper purpose. She called Cam's release of the voicemails petty and cruel, adding that no woman should have her darkest moment turned into online content. In a shocking turn of events, she also held Jim accountable, saying that there were things I needed from Jim emotionally, and I didn't get them. At the time, I thought Cam could help Jim understand why we were all friends once we were family, but that version of us no longer exists. The room was hushed until Charlemagne leaned in and asked the question that was on everyone's mind. Would you ever accept Jim back? That doesn't excuse what Kim did, but it does explain why I initially reached out. After a moment of silence, Chrissy said, "We'll always love each other, but sometimes love just isn't enough." Videos from the interview went viral on social media, with some people applauding her for her poise and honesty, while others blamed her for although she didn't ask for any of this. Most people seemed to sympathize with her while she played victim. One remark said, "Kim weaponized her pain. Jim ignored it. She lived it." In the meantime, Camron released a 5-track surprise EP called Deleted Messages, which straddled the boundary between resistance and apology. Track titles with voice notes from the archives, "There Is No Allegiance." Every song in red, "Receipt Delete for Me, Not for You," spoke to sorrow, but instead of responding with music, Jim stayed silent and announced the start of King's Rebuild, a mental health initiative for men in the hip-hop community. We've all made mistakes, but it's time to start healing the right way with support, honesty, and accountability. This move won him praise from both fans and critics. Chrissy, on the other hand, teamed up with a women's advocacy group to host a podcast called Sharing Unmuted Accounts of Women in the Spotlight, and how their humanity is frequently taken away from them by public narratives. Her own story in the first episode. "I'm here to reclaim my trauma, not to relive it." Everyone involved, including Cam, Jim, Chrissy, and even Joseph, saw this story as the end of a time when friendship and music stardom were connected together. But he never released the last voicemail, which some claim was too painful, and others claim he realized he had gone too far. Damaged betrayal and development, whether you support Camron or not. This story demonstrated that betrayal, love, and fame are more complicated than ever in the digital age. The world had watched them fall apart, but now they were all starting to rebuild, and even though the drama might never end online, the people at its core were moving on, one voicemail at a time. Snow is honest with Bard. Jim Jones makes an effort to mend Chrissy's emotional truth. It's obvious that everyone has a story, and not all of them are worthy of making headlines. It's your turn to talk about what you believe actually transpired. Behind the scenes, was Cam wrong to reveal private messages? Or was he just using receipts to defend himself? Should Jim have spoken up sooner? Or did he act appropriately by remaining silent? Was Chrissy misunderstood or manipulative? Please share your ideas in the comments section below. And remember to like for more thrilling, in-depth analyses, please. Share and subscribe. In a world full of filters, artificial smiles, and hidden motives, we're here to keep things unedited and raw till the next time. So make sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss the truth behind the drama. Keep alert, keep inquisitive, and most importantly, be prepared because you could receive the next voicemail.